Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Hey doctors, what I want to talk about is using the energy that you already have in a clinic to build your practice. So too many of my colleagues, too many doctors, and I know I struggle with this for a long time myself, is you're working your guts out trying to build a practice. You're working all the time. You're sacrificing a lot. You're sacrificing family time trying to build a practice. Specifically what I'm talking about is chiropractors, but this applies to medical doctors, it applies to PTs, it applies to anybody that's trying to build your own practice. You're going to spend a lot of time building that practice. And that practice is important because it's your main source of income and it can really produce for you and your family. But the thing that I think is really important to understand is that there are simple things that you can do to generate more activity out of your clinic with procedures in your clinic. So what I mean by that is if I'm going to be in my office for 30 hours a week adjusting, let's say I'm a chiropractor and I'm going to be in my office for 30 hours a week adjusting. I have to be there for 30 hours. Now, that 30 hours, I'm not going to spend every minute adjusting patients unless you're super high and you've got just a really, really kick-butt office. And there are doctors out there that do. But let's say that, I have my hour in the morning, my hour and a half in the morning, my hour and a half late at night, and then I have patients scattered. Now, I always cluster book, so I always had chunks of time in between, but most doctors don't have, if they're in there for 30 hours, you're not spending 30 hours just adjusting patients. You're doing a lot of other things. You may be managing staff, looking at new policy, looking at new insurance procedures, looking at new equipment, you're looking at all kinds of things. But one of the things that you should be thinking about is how do I build my practice faster from within? Now, I'm going to tell you, you can build a very large practice from within without ever going outside if you want to. Now, I recommend that doctors do both, especially I train doctors all across the country on how to increase or get more injury patients into their offices. And it's not that hard to do, especially since you already have energy coming into your office. But it's also not that hard to get more non-injury patients into your practice using the exact same principles. Okay, so one, if I know injury work, then I know chronic pain. So if you're a provider out there right now and you're listening and you're going, yeah, I have a pretty big chronic pain practice, but you can't answer the question like super, super easy, what causes the patient's chronic pain and what are you routinely finding? Right? Because if it's just, hey, I bring them in, I listen to what they have to say, I do an exam, my exam results don't really tell me anything, maybe I take x-rays, maybe I don't, and I just start adjusting them, I'm 100% going to tell you, you have no clue what the person has. You're just opting the fact that you have a technology or you have a modality called adjustments that 80% of the time are going to help. But you don't know why they help or how bad the situation is or really how to talk to the patient so you can give them a realistic idea of really how long this might take to stabilize so that their neck pain or their headaches or the various symptoms go away. If you're in that boat, I was in that boat at one point in my career. And what I can tell you about that boat is it's not a fun boat. It's boring as hell. Because it requires very little understanding or thought of things, and it's very routine. It's like you're doing the same thing over and over again. And for me, it was boring as hell. Now, I was good at it, and I helped a lot of people, but I always had a problem with the fact that I really didn't understand what they had. And it wasn't until I got into injury work that I realized, oh my gosh, injury work and realignment work, where I was trying to realign the spine, married. Because the thing that causes the spine to misalign is a trauma, is an injury. And the more you understand it, the more you understand chronic pain. So if you're sitting there in a chronic pain practice, I'm going to tell you 100% you're in an injury practice. And it's not that hard to actually make the jump from that practice to getting more injury patients. And at the same time, while you're getting more injury patients, your internal procedures are going to allow you to generate a lot more non-injury patients. It's really not that hard to do. But you have to have somewhat of a system to do it. You have to have an idea, a plan of like, what are you going to do? And that plan can include, what are you going to talk about? Well, you know, if you're in a consultation, let's say I got a patient that's got chronic headaches and chronic neck pain. They're there, they've had chronic headaches, chronic neck pain for, 4 years. They saw a chiropractor at one point. They used a tool on them. Didn't seem like it helped them. They're tired of using drugs. Stories, the things that you hear every single day in private practice. Okay, good. So I'm sitting in that consultation. I'm listening to it. Here's the difference. Now, I'm going to give you one tip. I'll give you 12 tips that all go together. Not on this podcast. This is what I do in the Smart Injury Doctors program. I'll just give you one tip, right? I'm in there, I'm talking to the patient, headaches. Okay, I look at the patient and I say, in the consult, good. What we're about to do is we're going to do an examination. I'm going to do some x-ray procedures that are going to look for a condition called a ligament injury. The most common reason why you have the headaches and why you have the chronic neck pain is because there's a ligament condition that's causing a problem with the spine. And that is what's causing the chronic pain. Now, anyone that you know that has this condition or has it in the lower back or has it in the neck or has chronic headaches has this condition and it's been totally undiagnosed. That's why they don't get help with it. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen with you. Follow me. Now, I'm going to do procedures that back what I just said up. But guess what? I just planted the seed in that patient's mind that what? Every patient that they know that has chronic headaches has this condition we're going to be looking at. Now, if I find a condition, I explain it to them, and I get rid of their headaches, guess what? I become the go-to clinic of who they refer the people that they know that have the same condition, and they know a lot of people like that. So it's a change in my procedure. You can't do that. You absolutely 1,000% cannot do that with, hey, you know, I don't really look for anything, I really don't know what it is, and we just set you on a treatment plan. Because now you're a charisma-driven practice. Do you have charisma? Yeah, you can get away with that. You can get away with doing that a lot, but try to get away from your practice without your charisma being in the practice and see that your numbers still stay the same. They don't. You want to take a vacation? You're gone. You want to take a vacation? You're sitting there going, okay, geez, it's going to cost me $10,000 if I leave for the week, and it's going to cost me $10,000 for the week on vacation. I'm not spending $20,000 to take a vacation. I'll feel better if I don't take a vacation. That's what happens when you don't have a practice that's based on the understanding of injury, and you don't have procedures that are based on the understanding of injury, whether it's a chronic pain patient or your injury patient. And it's also, once you understand this, I can now drive my internal traffic to give me unattached cases. If you don't understand how, I want you to schedule a call with us at Smart Injury Doctors Program. You can look us up, smartinjurydoctors.com, or you can give us a call, 800-940-6513, and schedule an appointment with Chrissy and find out more about the program. This stuff is so simple, and it's so simple to build a large practice from within based on simple concepts. But you have to, when you're going to work, you have to, like if I'm going to go to work, and I wish somebody would have told me this very early on in my career, if I'm going to be in there, why not generate so I don't need to be the other 20, 30, 40 hours outside of clinic stressing about how I can get more people into my clinic. That's what I thought about, right? And the thing is, what I just explained to you, if you don't understand it, it's a system. And once you have a system, guess what you have? You have the ability to have associates. You have the ability to have other people do the work for you. So if any of this resonates with you, you can check us out at www.smartinjurydoctors.com. You can also check out our free Facebook user group where we add more information called the Smart Injury Doctors Practice Building Success Network. Doctors, we're here to help you. I really appreciate your time and attention today. Hopefully you got something out of this content. I look forward to delivering more content to you in the future.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.